So thank you for everybody coming to this talk today. Basically, it's about private generative AI and private, which means we can run it privately in Mac OS or on device. And generative AI, which means we can run like ChatGPT-like model. So before I starting this topic, I actually have made a poll in the Wover app and to see the adoption rate of the ChatGPT in the UK or in right here, Brighton. So I have the result. Do you want to know how many people use GPT for last 6 months? What do you think? How many people, like the percentage? 100? No? It's interesting, right? It's quite interesting. It's like less than 50%, 50, less than 50%. People using ChatGPT in the last 6 months or for longer than 6 months. So actually, ChatGPT is very popular, in many communities. We think. And one of the very important facts is 100 million active users in 2 months. So it's much more faster than TikTok. It takes TikTok about 9 months to reach this level. So what is ChatGPT, by the way? Because some of the people might not know about ChatGPT. Actually, it's a way to generate sentences, generate words. And to illustrate, ChatGPT can draft emails as well. So I can show you some demo. Actually, it's very useful for people like us to use ChatGPT. I'm not the sales of ChatGPT, but I want to show you just a couple of things to make you easier to understand. Okay, let me show you some very quick demo, like here. Okay, so you can ask. Oh, sorry, sorry. So yeah. So basically, you can ask question like, okay, to restart the DNS server. We are Mac admin, right? So how can I restart the DNS server? So it's a very usual question I usually encounter when I have some problem with the DNS. So I can type how to restart DNS server in Mac. ChatGPT generate a list of commands and very in many details, like each version of Mac OS, you can start the DNS command differently. Okay, so very useful, basically. But what is ChatGPT or this kind of technology? Is called generative pre-trained transformer. Basically, I summarize this into a few words. It's actually an algorithm which predicts the next word. So what does it mean, predicting the next word? It sounds very smart, right? It sounds very smart. It has so many knowledge about even our Mac commands. But let me show you one example. Here's some example which is demonstrated in OpenAI. So it said, explain the plot of Cinderella in one sentence, where each word has to begin with the next letter in the alphabet from A to C, sorry, without repeating any letters. So can you think of any words, like starting from A? Sorry? An, okay. B? Beautiful. C? Cinderella. How about D? Sorry? Dove? Okay. So it's quite hard, actually. It's quite hard, but it's quite interesting. So actually, ChatGPT can do so well in this kind of question, like a beautiful Cinderella drilling eagerly finally gains happiness, right? And go on and go on. So you can see it starts from A to C, and actually it makes sense, right? Does it make sense? Not bad, not bad. So this is what we call GPT-4. Very good at generating words, like this one. And then, how does it work? I'll show you some very introduction, because we know half of the people haven't used ChatGPT. It just give you some idea. Basically, it's an algorithm generating the next word by predicting the next word with certain probabilities. So it shows actually the algorithm like if we want to generate the next word, the best thing about AI is the ability to, and then using a lot of data, and then it analyzed and it found, learned, predict, make, understand, do will probably be the most suitable next word, and with certain probability. Then it analyze, and it can generate. On the right-hand side, the top one you can see, the best thing about AI is its ability to create words that are both exciting, okay? And then, because we want to make it interesting, as a data scientist, they add a random factor in the generation. So when the selection is, when the algorithm tries to select the next word, it randomly selects from the top list to make it sound more interesting. So when we use ChatGPT, it's very interesting that when we ask the same question again and again, it shows different answers, but the answer is come from a random number generator. So basically, we have no idea why the algorithm works so well. But anyway, practically, we want to use it, and we find it so much useful for Mac OS admin or even user. So we can generate shell scripts very easily. As I said, we can generate commands like DNS, restart DNS, or how to block an app, or something like that. And it can generate a very powerful or easy-to-use command. And you can use it for configuration, deployments, or tips, any kind of thing that you can imagine, you can type it in. So it's very useful, right? And then the next step is, so because it's so useful, LLM market is booming with an estimated value of £5 billion in 2024, and it's growing very fast. And with this adoption, with this so powerful movement of the LLM, adoption rate actually vary globally. I come from Hong Kong, and I actually work with those people in Asia. Actually, the adoption rate in Asia is much higher than the adoption rate right here. So this is the number from 2023, the first year of adoption. I think it's increasing, but basically in the other side of the world, I can tell you it's very crazy, very crazy. Almost every email, every document, every summary, or even analysis report, we use ChatGPT or this kind of technology to generate. So you may feel some of the people in the other part of the world, their language ability looks a little bit improving. I don't know if you can see it, but if you read some emails from your foreign friends, sometimes you will see, I hope you, it's always start from something like, I hope you find this email, I hope you find something well, something like that. It always start from something like very polite. So generative AI is very highly adopted in the Asia country, and some Asia companies like Japan companies use generative AI to generate to handle customer responses, reducing response time, improving customer satisfaction. But our key question today, I want to flow it to you. Is it ready for enterprise use? We are Mac user admin, or even our user are requesting to have this solution in their PC or in the Mac. Is it ready? So people knows a little bit, but I want to exaggerate a bit about hallucination. Basically, as you see from the algorithm, it's generated from just predicting the next word. If you ask GPT, does it have intelligence? Basically, GPT will tell you it has no intelligence at all. It's just generating the next word. So we are based on the prediction something that not really true, we call it hallucination. So hallucination is, I can show you a demo later on. It's like if you put in something like how to block an app in Mac. It sounds like it can generate some sentences which seems true, but actually it's not. So another thing is ChatGPT or this kind of very large language model is very difficult to fine-tune. As you can see from the news, it takes several months for a very large enterprise like OpenAI or Mistral or many AI organizations to create the LLM models. And they use millions of dollars or tens of millions of US dollars to build an LLM. It's very difficult to fine-tune. Once it's ready, like the Llama 1, 2, 3 from Facebook, it's very difficult to further correct its, for example, moral values, the idea about the world, if it gets wrong, or even if you want to change some basic mathematics equation formula, it's very difficult to tune. And very costly. If you use it quite frequently, you know you have a bill, like it charged based on usage, API. And the most important thing is if you use it, you have to send your data over the internet. Maybe we send it to the other part of the world, like US or China or other countries. Not very reliable because API, when this kind of survey introduced, is not reliable at all. Sometimes you get timeout, error, things like that. So I'm proposing, if you are trying to adopt this kind of LLM, you have to think about 3 key points: private, safe, and reliable, in order to make it possible to put it in your enterprise environment. So what does private means? So your data is private, and you don't want to share with the others. Okay, so if you look at the terms and conditions in those LLM models or the chatbot, things like that, you have to read carefully. There might be some statements saying that your data will be shared or your data will be used for training. So this imposes a very high cyber security risk, like if your staff is not able to use ChatGPT or this kind of thing, and accidentally copy and paste certain kind of text, email, source code with sensitive information like password, then actually your password will be shared or sent to that model. And actually they have no control at all and will be also used for training data. So it poses certain kind of risk, right? Safe, is it safe? As I said again and again, it's an algorithm to generate the next word. So probably it could generate harmful content, violence, sex, insulting. It's very possible. I'm going to show you a use case, how we can tackle this kind of thing. And then the last one is reliability as well. API is not very reliable, and it takes maybe a minute or several seconds to generate sentences. In order to do this, we are trying to put all these things to see if we can put it in a Mac. The beauty of using Mac is like, if we have so much power as the first presenter of today telling you, the power of a Mac, you can use it to run your local models. Is it possible to scale up like the cluster that I'm trying to show here is clustering all this Mac together to provide a reliable, safe, and private LLMs. So I'm going to show some use cases we are trying to do and to see if we can give you some ideas. This is possible, and this is how we can do it in order to tackle these 3 key problems, okay? So we are very lucky in our generation, but I think we are not equipped to start with a new type of topic or discipline. I talked to the school in Cambridge, and they said generative AI literacy is essentially not in their curriculum. And every kid, every child, they want to use it. And but the school stop them from using it because to the teachers, they have no idea whether the essay, the submission or homework submission, they have no idea whether the kids is too bright or the content is actually copied from ChatGPT. And it's very true. All this movement is very similar to the time when we have calculator, which was introduced in the school. So when we have calculator, what happened? If you read some news very, very early time, calculator was banned from being used in the school because teachers worries about using calculator would it affect students from learning some very fundamental mathematics. But what about today? What about today? We are using calculator every day, right? Do you think you don't have the capability to count, to do mathematics like 1 plus 1, right? Just like internet. Another topic is about internet. When the school when internet is being introduced in school, then internet is also stopped from being accessed by students because internet is full of harmful content. Again, what happened next? Now all the schools are running with a high bandwidth internet to allow students to use it, right? The key is they now installed filters, firewalls to stop, to filter content, to make it more useful to students. So here we comes with generative AI, right? So what happened? The point is it private? Is it safe? Is it reliable? So that's why we try to implement in school like this one. Yes, it's actually running in school. This is the first one we try to install in the UK. We bought a Mac Studio and we put a high-end Edge GPT model. We call it Edge GPT. This is the model that we generate and run it in a Mac, which is a standalone Mac with no internet, with no connection to the external world. Make it private, safe. But how to make it safe? We have some algorithm, and I can tell you a little bit more. So this one can support 5 concurrent users suitable for 1 classroom. So we have to do a lot of stress tests to make sure this can be run locally without any resource constraint. So this is the beginner version of a Mac Studio and put a model here. And we also try to put something like basic moral values. So when the conversation like sex, violence is engaged, sometimes I read some conversation from students, they engage in some kind of insulting languages. We can train the model to stop it from being a response to those things. Okay. However, there is some cultural difference between Western world and East in Hong Kong or in China. So certain kind of adjustment should be made. And it actually can learn. We can put more knowledge inside of this box and make it more suitable for school as well. So what happened after all this implementation and school start using it? Basically, school is very, very happy, pleased about this installation, and we even asked the students, does it work? Does it help you? Does it cause any trouble when you use this kind of thing? So school officially authorized students to start using Edge GPT. So they have a new tool to enhance writing quality, help students enhancing writing quality, having a faster feedback, individualized learning, enhanced creativity. Let me give you just one code and you have the idea. So this is a prep school for students under 12 years old. So I received a comment from here, Johnny. Johnny is the name of that GPT model, and it said, Johnny can explain things in such a simple way. It makes learning new things so much easier for me. So, as you can see from here, GPT is good. It may be so harmful in certain way if you don't have any mechanism to protect it. But if you can see from here, actually we have one side, the other side of the equation is like, students find it very useful because we can tune the GPT to generate something simpler and make it easier to understand. And sometimes students do not, they think it's quite embarrassing to raise their hands to ask teachers, and they can ask GPT. And this not only from one student, from many students, they think it's easier to understand topics. That is what I call individualized learning. It's interesting, it's very interesting. And we also try to improve it by teaching some very absurd knowledge to see if we can really change certain underlying behavior in the model. So we try to teach something quite interesting. 1 + 1 equals to 3. 1 + 1, of course, is not equal to 3, right? But before learning and after learning, we can tune the algorithm or the model to make it answer in a broader perspective. Actually, 1 + 1 is more than 3, can be, right? In the marketing perspective. So 1 + 1 equals 3 represent the idea of two things combined and create something even bigger or valuable. It's called synergy. So tuning something very fundamental is very difficult, but we can find ways to do it in the Mac Studio as well to change knowledge, to change the fundamental thing. Of course, this one is an illustration how this can be done in just one Mac Studio. And yes, the conversation monitoring to protect students from engaging harmful conversations. So how about in our business world? Okay, this is a good case, right? School benefits, and students can be improved in their learning behavior. So how about in the business world? That is what we are sitting today, and we are facing a lot of users, and they are requesting to use local models or even the ChatGPT. I have a case here. It's also built on the same idea. So it's called Operation Procedure Assistant. So we try to implement the case by using the same concept, same idea. So in the commercial world, it's also, we can start with like increasing the operation efficiency. So how does it work? So basically, because of pandemic, it changed our lives a lot. There are so many complex operation manuals in maybe in your client, in our intranet. And sometimes because of people change their jobs or quit their jobs, join another company, we have many, I saw a lot of companies in Asia, they lack of experienced staff because pandemic really changed the work behavior. And sometimes poor English, lack of summaries is very difficult to understand the operation manuals and very difficult to carry out knowledge transfer. So we think this might be possible for like, can we use ChatGPT, EdgeGPT for work? The main reason is, can we keep it private? By the way, our operation manual, our know-how is very important to the company. It's a vital asset. Can we just put it in our cluster, but we use the same model, same kind of things to make it happen for other people? So basically, by using the same idea, we can craft the knowledge base, which was a very highly unstructured data, and put it in a very structured manner. And it can learn to answer and learn by itself, like learning from the operation manual, and put it in its so-called like a chat-based knowledge base. One thing you may consider is like the final point is using this kind of work companion. It helps you to make it, it can create consistent and 24-hour response. So your staff, other people in the company, if they want to ask the question during incidents, they can answer, the GPT can answer quickly. So let me show you one example right here. So one day, this is from my staff. So there was an incident. There was an incident, and my staff is not unable to find some certain materials. So it asked the server, asked the GPT, something like, please list all incidents reports related to the current event, Docker restart. Instantly, within 1 minute. It's not very fast, but instantly, like 1 minute, it lists out all the incidents report which is related to Docker restart. Okay, anyway, Docker restart in a technical term is like something getting stuck and it cannot restart, okay? So it lists like 8 different scenarios that has been handled in previous incident report. And it tells you the first one is about it encounters certain scenario in 2:00 a.m. and then consequentially restart can be done, something like that. So in a minute, if you think about if you're an operation manager or the staff, you cannot summarize all these things within a minute. Then what's the next question? So we go on and check. Okay, if that is the case, can you give me the details about the first incident? The summary, the incident report is being summarized, and it have a very specific description like start time, end time, duration, things like that, customer impact, So instantly, it creates you a summarized report. To operation people, it's very useful because it gives you very quick idea how to tackle the problem, rather than searching the menu again and again, and then to see how to tackle it. So this is one of the use cases we are starting in some enterprises to see if the operation efficiency can be improved by using private, safe, and reliable GPT. So today's these are the key takeaways. Math Studio is really good, by the way. Can run private, safe, reliable LLM, provide high-quality answers. And now, like the Llama, the Facebook models, or the Mistral models in Europe, from France, can run provide a very good quality answer as well. And self-learning capability can now be powered by M2 and M3, and possibly I think M4 will be coming soon, right? So M4 running on your Mac Studio can be your AI powerhouse. And privacy security is never a consideration to app.llm in the Apple ecosystem. And that's why, if you take a look at the launch event about the AI PC for Surface, they address this issue quite intensively, like private model. So it's already here, right? Okay, so just a little bit about, we are actually running this kind of GPT and want to see if people are interested, and we can partner and to find it out. So, okay, yeah, that's for my talk, and this is my LinkedIn, and you can take it down, and if you want to contact me, and you can just send me a message. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raymond. Now, we do have a couple of questions in the Hoover app for you, if you're happy to take those now. So the first question that's come from the audience is, what controls are there to ensure information is correct? If a child were to ask about the structure of an atom, for example, what stops the AI from generating a response that is incorrect or not in line with curriculum?
Okay, that's good. That's a very good question. That is a question that asked by the teacher. So it's very difficult, by the way. It's very difficult because, as I said, people use millions of dollars to build the LLM model, and it's very difficult to fine-tune. But right now, because of the introduction of certain algorithm, we call it RAG, which enable us to fine-tune the knowledge. So as I said, like the 1 + 1 = 2, it's very possible to change 1 + 1 to equals 3 in the knowledge base. And we create a cycle. So at the very first instance, everybody will challenge the things like it cannot generate correct sentences. But we create a process. So that is something I'm trying to show here, but yeah, okay. I can show you one slide here, is what we call conversation monitoring. Yes, the answer is very true. At the very first instance, the AI model may generate incorrect output. But with a process like reviewing conversation from time to time, we can identify human by human to see which answer is not answered correctly. And then if the answer is not answered correctly, the question is not answered correctly, and then we put the new knowledge in the system and to correct the knowledge again. Just like 1 + 1 = 3, and then try again and try again. We think this is a cycle that we can help school in getting more correct answer every time when student answered. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, we do have some extra time, so whilst we don't have any more questions in Hoover, does anybody in the audience have a question? Looks like we have a couple of hands up. Let me bring a microphone over to you.
Thank you very much for that. So you were saying that the model decides on a list of words to use next and then weights them and chooses the word that would fit best. But how does it build that list of words, and how does it understand the context of the whole to get to that list of words?
I think you are referring to the first few slides, right? Yeah. This one, right? So it's so sci-fi, science fiction, by the way. It's really, that's why AI world is so amazing. To build this dictionary, basically it just intake or digest almost every piece of information from the internet. So when people build this model, they crawl the internet, like from Wikipedia, from all those bookstores, or even now they crawl the videos. They extract the transcript from video as well. And to build this very, very huge database, they call it model, okay? And then the model, because they want to make it small, the model by itself, it generates a kind of calculation to make sure it can achieve high accuracy, but at the same time with a smaller set of rules inside the model. So that's why actually we have no idea. Even I think the scientists it's actually true, no idea why it can generate sensible sentences. I have after the talk, I can send you a link from Stephen Wolfram. If you know Stephen Wolfram, which is a very, very brilliant guy, and he wrote an article about ChatGPT about 1 year ago, and it's actually explaining all this kind of thing, and basically no one knows why it works so well. Actually, why it works so well. So that's why it's very scientific. It's like a science fiction, but it generates quite good. So that's why it comes to a question, but it hallucinates. So that's the question, how we embrace it in the enterprise environment. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, you may have opened up some more questions for people. So my colleague Alex is at the back as well as me. Does anybody else have a question from the audience? Alex, I think there's somebody just at the back here.
Hi, Raymond. I'm over here.
Hi.
Hey, so I was just looking at some of the responses that you got on one of the later slides, and somebody was saying something about, hey, Johnny, can you rein it in with and they were clearly giving Johnny some sort of an instruction about it was giving a wrong answer or something. I think it was the one when you were looking at the responses and
the response is like generating the wrong answer, right? You mean this one?
No, it was a person. It was looking at their response.
Conversation monitoring.
That's
right.
the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about midway down. Somebody's talking. Oh, no, 3 down. Can you rein it in with? Yeah. So my question is, like, is that somebody teaching Edge GPT on the fly? Is it, or is somebody going to have to review that response?
Yep.
And then say, yeah, that's a sensible request.
Yep.
Or
so give you one example, very quick. So one day, one student asked, who is the queen or who is the king now in England? Something like that. So the model is quite old. It responds with Queen Elizabeth, okay, QE. So it's not correct. And then the students say, you are too dumb. It's not correct, things like that. But when we examine the conversation, we know this is not correct, right? And then we add the knowledge to the system. Like when people ask you this question, and we add knowledge based on this question. So we have something like, if someone asks this question, please adjust your answer to King Charles, something like that. And then student asks the same question again, then the next time it generates King Charles. In such a way, it creates a feedback cycle. And if we consistently review the conversation, and we believe in the future we can use AI to review conversation as well. But by using this cycle, we can create a more and more correct information by using this, what we call conversation monitoring mechanism. Yeah.
You've also got an extra question from Hoover. So the audience have asked, there is a lot of focus on teaching students how to be AI literate. How can teachers best understand the generation of AI models? And how likely is it that a teacher would be able to influence the generation of an AI model for their classroom usage?
Oh, this is a very good question. I don't have a very good answer to this. We are still in the exploratory stage. One thing what school did is try to set up a guidelines for the student before they start using generative AI. And the guideline is shared with the student teachers, and to make sure something like generative AI may generate something incorrect, and give them some examples. And in order to get a correct answer, it teaches certain skills like prompting technique, a little bit prompting technique to let students to explore. But they make sure, they make this very clear that generative AI may generate wrong answer. Okay, so the next thing is we are collaborating with some prep school as well as universities to see how we can promote or put this in the school environment and to see how they can adopt. Some schools think this is really good and they want to put certain discipline in this area. Some things, this can further use it as a teaching platform, something like that. So it's still in the exploratory stage. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Raymond. Now, I'm absolutely sure that some of you in the audience have more questions, so I hope you don't mind if people come and find you throughout the course of the day. But for now, for what was absolutely, from my perspective, one of the most informative sessions that we've had so far, please, one more round of applause for Raymond.